Just the dialogue. The dialogue is so like convoluted and bloated that you just miss what the fuck is happening. Could you imagine like the fucking script for this? Like just condense it down. You're losing them.
Cut that, that's gone.
So, I think I figured it out, Steve. From a structural point of view, right? Much like Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, which is 1 4-hour movie,
Right.
Reloaded and Revolutions is 1 4-hour movie. I wrote them at the same time, they filmed them at the same time, edited them at the same time, released them at the same time. This is like a 2-hour third act.
Revolutions is 2 movies. It's 2 totally separate movies. Right? Not only in the way that it's edited. This is the same old fucking story, right? It's about the editing, right? And it's about you're watching it, and you know, mind you, we talked fucking through all the fucking boring.
There's about 40 minutes at the beginning of talky,
and it has nothing to do thematically.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with the sort of the way that the arc plays out directly after it. The way that the arc plays out directly after it suggests that there should have been a bunch of other stuff before it that builds up to it.
There's like a missing like 40-minute episode or something, because the Reloaded ends with them blowing up the tower and stuff, and then this just cuts to Neo trapped in a train station.
Yeah, there's 2 things, right? And they're desperately trying to have them run parallel to each other. There's the Matrix and whatever's going on in there, and Neo and his avenue of trying to solve the major issue. And then there's everybody else outside of the Matrix trying to deal with the issue, right? And it's parallel, right? But it's not, but it doesn't work in parallel.
It's funny, well, Star Wars will do the thing where they'll have the third act and they'll intercut like, the 3 different storylines over the top of each other. And I'm not sure whether they should have done that here. That could have been a fucking complete mess nightmare. But it's funny, we get 40 minutes of like bullshit, and then we have like almost like 40-50 minutes of the battle for Zion with no like cutting back to Neo. And it just plays and plays and plays, and then after that we get Neo's third act. So it's kind of like 2 third acts.
I said to you, it's kind of like the battle for Zion. Well, it should have been treated kind of like the battle for Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's almost like that.
Yeah.
The sort of the tension. Well, we didn't get that, right? There was no, exploring all the people in Zion and their preparations. We kind of got that interspersed in Reloaded, right?
Yeah, but then, Reloaded should have been the slow build-up of suspense.
Yeah.
But instead it was like, the political talks. We got the drama between Link and his wife, which I guess was setting up Link's wife.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the machines coming, right? But it's not like Helm's Deep.
No.
Helm's Deep is like the A+ example of building the tension to the maximum point you can before it to break.
All the people being armed and fucking the little kid with the fucking sword, and he's like, some of the soldiers are saying we won't make it through the night.
Which Peter Jackson like directly took all the pacing and the tension suspense from Zulu.
Yeah.
All that movie just building up to the battle.
If you want to talk of, this movie should have been like that, right?
Well, this movie's just the action scenes, right? And Reloaded is just all the talky stuff.
But even now, even in this movie, they had all the talky stuff. You couldn't, again, right? So the Battle of Zion is like a chunk. Yeah. Right? Is like the climax of a movie. Yeah. Right? And so, if you're going to have 2 things running in parallel, right? The Matrix and in the Matrix, and fucking Zion. In the real world, right? They need to basically be exactly the same in terms of where they are in their respective pacing.
I think they could have intercut them and had them both.
But they didn't. That's the point.
Yeah, they could have, you have those moments with, what's her name? Jada Pinkett Smith and Morpheus coming in on the ship and intercut that with Neo and Agent Smith.
What you do...
It'd be difficult, but you could do it.
The thing is, right, is that with the... So the Matrix track, right? Like in the Matrix, that's their track, and they had a track, and that started in Reloaded. Right?
Yeah.
In Reloaded, they had a goal. Right, it was to fucking no. It was to take out the tower and the power station so they could get through the thing to do the thing, right? And they were it was a race against time, ticking clock, right? Same with this. It's Battle for Zion. It has a ticking clock, but the ticking clock is the anticipation to the breach and the battle, right? And so you'd get rid of all the fucking crap from at the end of Reload when they actually finally get through the door or whatever, right? You'd have that, and you'd take the Matrix track climax from Revolutions, and you'd stick that on the end. So they're racing against time, and they do the battle on the highway, and then they fucking do this, and then they're gonna blow up the power station, and then they do something, and then Matrix has Neo has his final confrontation with fucking Agent Smith, and while that's happening, you know, you've got the fucking build up to the battle, and this is happening, and they're coming, and da 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 da.
Yeah, that pace and that like arcing up to the crescendo is so important. The Expanse is one of the best things to do. It'll slowly build up to its thing, and then it'll just start compiling problem on top of problem. There'll be like 8 different problems all happening simultaneously, and it'll all just pick up in tension and suspense and just crescendo with the resolution. But one of the main problems with this is they're just the editing and the flow of it. Singularly, there's some fucking amazing moments.
The Battle for Zion is actually amazing.
That
should have been, if that was just a movie. I'd love it. And
it goes for like 40 or 50 minutes.
I'm watching it, and all I can think, it's the same thought I've always had. I'm so much more interested in what's going on.
I'm so much more invested in that New Zealand warrior mech commander guy than Neo.
If we're gonna fucking die, we'll make sure that we'll give them hell before we do, and it's like, but that should have been towards the end of the movie, him giving that speech, right? And us seeing all the soldiers. It was like 5 or 10 minutes of them prepping and getting into the machines, and
it was all amazing. But I care about the kid, him like reloading the ammunition, having his arc,
that's hectic as fuck.
Opening the gate.
It's like time to go, and they open the fucking door. It's like
a fucking nightmare hellscape. The swarms and how all the sentinels are like fish and they're in their packs.
The fucking excellent.
20 years later, it looks like something you'd watch on Netflix
today,
now.
It looks better than some movies that you see today.
Just the design and the execution and the amount of money they poured into it. 2 decades later, it looks flawless.
It's just
there weren't even really any moments that horribly stuck out.
It's just, again. We talked through, because we've seen this movie. We talked through all the bullshit in the beginning.
It doesn't lead anywhere.
But the point is that if we didn't do that and we just sat down and watched it, my brain would have just divorced it, so it would have checked out. By the time we got to the Battle of Zion, instead we picked it up. Essentially, we stopped talking and started paying attention.
You just naturally zone out during that first 40 minutes. Right. And then as soon as all that stuff starts building, you're like, oh, I'm engaged.
But it kills all of the momentum for the good stuff in the movie.
Well, it's like if you imagine like a Tool song that went for 10 minutes, if the first 3 minutes was garbage, and then like minutes 7 and 8 were brilliant,
it doesn't matter.
It's not a good song.
No, it's about context.
It doesn't flow. It doesn't flow.
It's about context. Right? The context surrounding the Battle for Zion chunk is shit. Right? And then they win the Battle of Zion or whatever, it comes to a stalemate or they make progress or whatever. And then you've still got fucking like 40 minutes of crap.
And it's amazing that like the last 5 with Neo and Agent Smith, like you just don't care.
No. Well, we skipped the Superman. So, okay, right, he gets into the Matrix and he's gonna fight Agent Smith. All the Agent Smiths.
I do like when they go to the machine world and all the gothic HR.
But that's the cool stuff. That's what I'm talking about.
Trinity dying, but then they talk too long. They love each other.
You could almost argue that that's part of the real world track.
The baby face of all the robots, and they plug him in, and it looks like a fucking nightmare realm.
Yeah, it is a nightmare. It's a whole nightmare. I love the nightmare. Give me more nightmare. Right. So we're doing all that, and that's really cool. And then he gets to the Matrix, right? And all the Agent Smiths everywhere. That's dumb. It's really dumb, especially when they pan up to the buildings and he's in all of them. It's dumb. It's really, really, really dumb. Okay, whatever, right? So then they fight. First 2 minutes. Looks fucking so cool, right?
They have the practical rain and the slow motion.
Then it turns into Superman.
Turns into Dragon Ball Z.
Then you skip through it, because that's what we did. We skipped all that crap, because we knew. We know what it is.
It's funny, the first movie is pulling from Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
And the third movie is pulling it from Dragon Ball Z. It just really shows how far they dropped. It's this cerebral, like, anime about consciousness and existence, and then some dumb thing about people shooting lasers at each other.
It should have been.
What happened to Ghost in the Shell, Wachowskis?
I love Ghost in the Shell. Right, so to have what it should have been, the final confrontation between fucking Agent Smith and Neo should have been as grounded as the subway station fight.
That subway scene in the first movie is like amazing.
It's one of the best, most iconic
it's
fucking
little,
fight.
It's small, it's contained, it's practical. It's Hugo Weaving and Keanu Reeves on wires. They barely use guns. It only goes for like 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
And it's fucking amazing.
It's amazing.
This
right?
is just
But
noise.
you'd almost, if you were to see it for the first time, you'd see the start of the fight, the final fight.
This is gonna be epic.
This is gonna be fucking so cool. They're just in a street, and they're gonna fucking and they've got like they'll have like a slow frame where when the lightning goes off, and it's all like single continuous shots. There's no like really hard fast cutting of
they're letting it play out and zooming in to build the tension.
And it's like if it was just that,
it's as soon as they start flying.
Well, he knocks him out and it fucking presses all the fucking the bitumen and stuff. And he launches at him and goes bah, blah, and then we know we didn't watch it again like that bit.
I've seen it.
We've seen it. We know what it is.
Multiple times.
Right.
Hundreds of times.
Right.
Every time.
It's dumb. It's really dumb. And
I think it's the flying that makes it silly, and I think it's us specifically when it starts cutting to everything CGI.
It looks too CGI.
But yeah, all the stuff in Zion. I mean, the stuff in Zion, they did use a lot of like models with the gate and the ship.
But that's all machines. They're all machines. There's very few like people.
Rain is very hard to do. Anything organic is really hard to pull off with CGI, like hair and water and rain and fire. But anything mechanical and like angular and artificial, your eye doesn't pick it out as much.
I think the difference, right, is the suspension of disbelief, right? So, okay, now, let's just ignore the fact that they're in a video game, like, for all intents and purposes, as far as things like physics and all that sort of stuff go, right? Yeah. When you see the fucking dudes in the walkers and they're shooting the machines and the machines are drilling and they're firing rockets, there's no sort of bits where you go, ooh, that doesn't look right. Like
the kid doesn't start flying around. He
doesn't jump 10 feet or whatever, and old mate gets cut to pieces and all that sort of stuff, right? But then when you start seeing, two guys, right, and they fucking, and they're Superman and they're fucking rah, and it just doesn't, your suspension of disbelief is gone. Now again, right, through the logic of the movie, that's perfectly acceptable because it's the Matrix. They're both manipulators of the Matrix, right?
It makes narrative sense. It just
doesn't,
silly.
That doesn't matter. You can explain that away all you want, and it's a valid explanation. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. You're watching and you're going, that's fucking dumb. That is dumb. It looks dumb. Right? And it fucking it's just silly. Where's our little personal fight between two characters? Where's the crescendo of the final confrontation between our two characters?
But humanity and connection and investment. It's just lost once they're Superman.
And it's almost a waste of Hugo Weaving.
For so many Hugo Weavings, I said this last review, there's barely any Hugo Weaving. He gets barely anything to do. And he's like the best thing in this fucking trilogy. He's the best thing about the movie. He doesn't do anything in this fucking movie. I mean, I guess he fights Neo and dies, but how many scenes was he in? 2, 3?
In the first movie, the utilization of Hugo Weaving
That
was
scene
10 out
where,
of 10.
where he's sitting down with like Morpheus and like he's wiping the sweat off his face. And, you're disgusting.
Yeah.
You're a virus.
It's this now.
Yeah.
If there is such a thing.
Yeah. It's none of that in this. He doesn't do anything.
There's the cookie where he absorbs the oracle and fucking
Yeah.
cookies need love too. And
That was
that's
alright,
good,
yeah.
right? But that's the elements that we're missing
That's
from
a
that.
5-minute scene.
So the point is that you could cut away all the Matrix stuff. Alright? Cut away all of that. It's just put that over here.
Yeah.
And you've got something that's interesting. For me, personally, it's interesting, right? The sci-fi sort of
Oh yeah.
aspects
The
of it.
aesthetics and the steampunk and all that stuff. Even like the scene where like the Agent Smith not in the Matrix, the one out in the real world.
Bane, yeah, that's cool.
That sequence is fucking amazing.
But again,
it's flashing and strobing.
they're not
and,
Supermen.
Yeah.
Right? That's what.
And Neo gets his eyes burnt out. We care for him because like he can get injured. He's a human. We're invested in
But
him.
in saying that, they make the other misstep with fucking Trinity when she gets impaled, right? It becomes the 5 or 10 minutes where she's fucking saying goodbye to Neo, allegedly saying goodbye.
We'll see.
It's dumb.
It just goes for way too long. It needed to be like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 sentences. There's a scene where the New Zealand guy is on the Met. And he's like, we may all die tonight, but let's take down some machines. Yay! It's like 5 lines, and you're like, yes.
Well,
that's awesome.
When he gets all cut up and he's telling the kid that he can do it. It's like I didn't pass training. Neither did I. And he's like all fucked up, and it's like,
And it goes for like 5 seconds. But when it's Neo and Trinity, it goes for 40.
You know what?
They love each other.
It should have been the kid doing the training. Right? Doing the training to be a fucking mech pilot or whatever. And failing and all that fucking shit, right?
That's the movie.
That's the movie,
you
right?
Need to cut out Neo, Agent Smith, and Trinity.
All that fucking shit.
That in the bin.
And the payoff for that line would have been the best payoff, right? It's like, I didn't complete training, neither did I. And we would have been with him through the whole thing of him,
I'm so much more emotionally invested in them than Neo and Trinity.
And we don't even know his name. Kid.
That's the best arc in the movie.
You can do it. Hurry. There's no time.
I didn't finish the training program.
Neither did I.
Well, no, the arc about Neo and the Matrix
He
stuff.
has the ability to make a choice.
Yeah, it's the metaphorical, allegorical bullshit.
Yeah.
That's it. The characters themselves don't have an arc. It's about prophecy. They're servants to. It's like Dune, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Paul is more a service. The character Paul is a service to the prophecy.
But Paul is self-aware of this line that he's stuck in, and he's trying to navigate it, and he's trying to avoid the jihad. Neo's just like blasé going,
they're just going along for the ride.
One.
Yeah, there's the conflict. It's not like, it's like the character conflict in the first one is him coming to grips with fucking the nightmare that he's actually in, right? And but even that's not played up enough, right? And it's like they trade, and again, like Dune, you can do that. You can trade away the sort of character conflict, the internal conflicts that a character might have about some situation in service for something grander, as long as the way that you explore the grander aspects are interesting.
Right? The idea and concept is fine, it's just the execution.
That's always what it is, and it's fucking silly. It's silly because, it's silly because, again, the Battle of Zion, the way, even though so much of it is CGI, it doesn't suffer from CGI exhaustion like so many movies do.
It's all the little moments, all the people on the ground and stuff. Like, you have the big mechs and them doing their thing and these massive swarms of fucking sentinels, but then you cut down to, like, the little individual stories of, like, Link's girlfriend and that Ripley from Alien 3, the bald chick on the ground, and like you're with them, you care about them, and when she gets like her leg crushed and stabbed, it's like yeah, I'm there. I'm with them. This is all so real and grounded, even though it's so super and grand and big. We cut down to those little tiny character moments. And they get so much more character moments than... Well, I guess Neo and Trinity do get character moments. We just don't give a fuck,
No, well,
right?
again, the character moments, let's think about the train station scene. Let's think about it. That's our introduction back to Neo. We're back with Neo. Okay. What are we doing? He's in a train station. Okay. He doesn't know where he is. We don't know where he is. Right?
They don't know where he is.
So he's going to find out, right? Well, we don't really find out. We kind of find out, but it's through really obscure and flowery dialogue about love and
the train master. It's a sub program or some shit.
Right, but it's all sort of weird and like, you know, skirting around the issue, right?
Yeah.
So what is Neo achieving in that segment?
There's no rhyme or reason for him to be in there.
Yeah, what's his conflict?
He needs to get out.
He needs to get out.
He's in there, and he needs
And what
to
does he
get
do to get out?
He doesn't do anything. Trinity points a gun at the Merovingian and says, "Let us get Neo out," and he says, "Okay."
Yeah, right. So that's
after all the bullshit in fucking Reloaded, the 40-minute scene with the Merovingian giving the orgasm cake and his wife watching fucking Neo kiss Trinity. They could have just pulled a gun and said, "Give us the Keymaster, you cunt."
She'll do it. She'll kill everybody here
That's
because
all
she's in love.
You just need to point a gun at him and he'll give you exactly what you want.
She'll do it. If she has to, she'll kill every one of us. She's in love.
It is remarkable how similar the pattern of love is to the pattern of insanity.
Time's up.
It's so funny because they did that and then they cut away and we never actually see him. So what? Okay, so she pulls the gun and old lady fucking is his missus.
She'll kill you. She's in love.
Okay, then we cut away from that. But let's say we didn't cut away from that. What happened next?
They left the BDS.
Everybody pulled their guns away.
Dungeon.
Right?
They let them save Neo because Trinity was going to kill the Merovingian because she loves Neo. But then, as soon as she lowers the gun, that threat's no longer on the table, so they could have just killed them.
Yeah, is the Merovingian not duplicitous? Did we not?
No, he is.
Yeah. So as soon as she lowered the gun, she dies.
What you're forgetting, Steve, is that she loved Neo. That's the takeaway.
See,
that's the takeaway.
Love can be used, again, as a sort of grander deus ex machina.
It just needs
for
to be
things
more
to happen.
subtle.
What's a good example of love being the thing that triumphs over
Sam and Frodo?
I mean, that's not...
Their friendship. Only through their friendship.
That's not untrue.
Yeah.
Is that not one of the main themes of The Lord of the Rings, is friendship
Frodo would
overcomes...
have immediately died without Sam. Smeagol would have wrung his fucking neck.
He tried. God helping me fucking tried.
But Sam was there.
So yeah, right? So you know, love and friendship, even if it maybe doesn't make sense, can be the thing if presented well.
It's just the dialogue. It's the length and time that is spent on the dialogue. It's like, we get it. They love each other. The Wachowskis, they're pining after love. I think they're both just like horribly lonely, and they just, through this script, they're trying to find some sense of love or acceptance.
I think they just didn't know what the fuck they were doing when it came to what conflict was actually the most important.
How to destroy the Matrix, what the Matrix is, what any of it means. And I think making these two movies simultaneously, it didn't give them the ability to like course correct.
No, that's
I
true.
think, like making the second one and having a year off to reflect and think and regroup, that would have done wonders. I prefer this movie a lot more to Reloaded.
Yeah, surprisingly so do I, but only because I kind of ignored, in a review, in a rewatch, I ignored all the crap in the beginning. If I was watching, if I was paying attention to all the crap in the beginning, I would have gone, oh, right, and just sort of divorced away from it.
Yeah, all that stuff is boring and pointless. But that 40 minutes at the beginning of this film, that's all of fucking Reloaded. Reloaded has the car chase, and then just 2 hours.
Again,
2 hours of talky.
And it's like weird, right? It's like okay, so there's a really cheesy moment, which is actually really good, cheesy, right? Where they're in the elevator and he's explaining what they're going to expect. And it's like, if we're lucky, it will be, fucking one guy and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and if we're not, there will be many men. And it's like, and they fucking all like separate, and it's like, that is so fucking cool. But then it devolves into sort of like, it's nowhere near as elegant as the
first courtyard. Lobby.
The first lobby shootout, right? It kind of, it just sort of, whatever quality about it is nowhere near as enthralling.
It gets you excited and pumped, and then I don't know.
It kind of peters out. It just turns into a bit. It just kind of turns into noise, right? There's so much going on, and they're on the ceiling, and then there's a guy that like he does a backflip through the main of the fucking lobby room, and he predictably dies.
Yeah, because he's backflipping.
And it's like, it's not in the original lobby one. Yeah. Right, it was just a bunch of tactical guys trying to take out these other guys.
Neo and Trinity were doing like running up the wall and backflip and stuff, but they weren't just they weren't circus.
It was taking cover, and he was doing. There'd be like a shot with Morpheus with the two fucking submachine guns going, and he's like standing in the open, like and there's guys backflipping and front flipping, and it's like
more stylized and less grounded.
Yeah, so
that loses the immersion.
And it's so weird because that sequence had it have gone for maybe 3 minutes or something.
Yeah, it feels like a really fine line in these movies between garbage and brilliance.
But it's
the whole, well, not the first one, but the two sequels just ride that line and tip both ways continuously, just back and forth.
It's not
garbage, brilliance, garbage, brilliance.
It's not knowing when to pull back.
Yeah.
Pull back. Right, and just let it breathe.
Yeah. Bring it down.
Let the action scene fucking breathe. Give us some breath.
Bring all the philosophy and the determinism. Bring all that down. Simplify it.
The breath that we get, right, is again the sort of what could be cool moments or some cool moments are all interspersed between the sort of weird, metaphorical, philosophical love triumphs over all dialogue, which is, again, it's like the fucking prequel, shot, reverse shot, standing and talking, reverse shot, walking and talking, sitting on a couch and talking, right? It's like, and that was the Merovingian scene. That was the whole thing for like fucking 10 minutes. When they go see the Oracle. Shot, reverse shot, standing and talking. And it's so boring, right? And so there's no... It's like, okay, so the lobby scene in the first one, there's lead up to it.
Yeah, there's stakes. They're going to save Morpheus.
We set up the stakes. Yeah. I need guns. Lots of guns.
You see fucking Agent Smith like fucking with Morpheus. He's gonna kill him.
And it's like.
And they're like, let's go save Morpheus. And in the third one, when they go to see the Oracle,
holy shit! And it's like,
I need your keys, phone, anything metallic. Holy fuck!
And again, the elevator scene in this one is kind of like that. Again, it's like he tells us what the stakes are.
It's the same scene.
Yeah.
But the motivation now is that the Asian guy, Morpheus and Trinity are going to talk to the Merovingian to get Neo back.
That's right. I keep forgetting what they're actually doing.
Yeah, well, it's just the dialogue. The dialogue is so like convoluted and bloated that you just miss what the fuck is happening. Could you imagine like the fucking script for this? Like just condense it down. You're losing them.
Cut that. That's gone.
Remember all those scenes in The Expanse where like you have like the Rossi crew and they're over like the monitors and stuff and they're like, this is the plan, this is the objective, this is how we're going to try and reach the objective.
That's a stupid idea. Well, we're doing it anyway.
And they go and do it.
They go and do it.
And then stuff changes and, shit hits the fan. But in this, they're just like, that scene goes for an hour.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 again, blah, 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 philosophy, determinism,
and
free
again,
will.
It's like the train station, right? It's like the dialogue is meant to serve the pacing and serve the tension building. It's meant to inform the viewer about what's happening, but in a smart way. Like you don't stand there and just exposition to it.
They're trying to be clever, and that's fine if they are clever.
But so in our beginning, and again, you just reminded me what they actually were doing, which is one half was going to try and get Neo out from his bind, right?
Yeah.
Is like they didn't actually really talk about that. They didn't actually really, we got it. You get it through the sequence of events that happen, right? But all the dialogue that surrounds it and gives it context and breathes life into it is about, love and determination and...
You don't know what it's about because you're not listening. It's so fucking bloated.
It's like, it's just fucking,
I could take a fucking highlighter to that script.
Are you, it's like, the Merovingian, uses the train line to fucking ship people out. And Neo goes, is that what you're doing? And is that what you're doing? And he's about to answer the question and his wife's like, Shazam, no, don't do that. He's like, no, it's fine, I'll answer the question. And then he like talks about love and, I love my daughter. And it's like, but that wasn't the question. He asked you a question, right? What the fuck is happening right now here, and what are you doing here, right?
Streamline.
And the answer didn't have to be, this is a fucking a backdoor conduit from the machine world to the Matrix. We're programs, and that's what we're doing. The Merovingian has a fucking smuggler for programs to go into the Matrix. You didn't have to say that.
I didn't know the machines could feel love. Love's just a word, like karma's
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah, I bet you didn't expect me to say that. Well, that's a human emotion. That's like, what?
Oh, you can experience love. Can you get me out of here?
Time to tell me what the
Zion's
fuck
gonna fall in 18 hours and I'm trapped in a train station. I don't give a fuck if you can feel love.
Wait.
You're a program. Get me out!
What if we kissed right now?
In front of the wife and the little kid.
It's like, it's almost, again, it's like a wasted opportunity because the kid in that scenario could have been the exposition sort of deliverer, and she kind of is in the beginning, right? It's like the reason that she says weird things is because she's a kid.
Yeah, she's naive and she's
but then when
trying to figure out what's happening.
Then when the guy starts saying the same fucking shit, right?
Again.
It's like...
That has nothing to do with what's happening.
It's like, did you not just listen to what I just said? Could you please stop saying bullshit?
It's like you have the lines that are talking about the actual storyline, and then there's just abstract ideas that they're trying to break down in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's like getting Die Hard and then just cutting like pieces of a Sam Harris podcast into Die Hard.
What does it mean to be a terrorist? What if we're the terrorists and forget?
What is a terrorist? What is love? What is a machine? It's just like, what is a good script?
And then Bruce Willis and bloody what's his
Hans Gruber.
The actor.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. Right, they're standing there. It's like oh, you don't know us, and what we've gone through and blah blah blah.
He's got a wife. He's at the window with a gun to her head, and Bruce Willis is like, what is a gun? Is a gun really just an abstraction of the human mind? Would a gun exist if the human mind didn't exist? And Hans Gruber is like, what are you talking? I'm gonna shoot your wife.
And then the wife is like, he'll do it. He has true conviction.
And then Hans Gruber's like, you need to kiss me. That's the only way I know if Bruce Willis loves you. And they start kissing. And Bruce Willis is watching because that's hot.
He gives her an orgasm.
I know, he goes for fucking 40 minutes. That scene at the window needs to go for 40 minutes.
You know what it is? It's fucking anime.
Yes, it is. It fucking is.
It's fucking... Now, okay.
Like things that just go on and on and on and on.
Let me preface this. Specific anime I fucking love. When anime is executed well...
I know the type of anime you're talking about though,
Which is mainstream anime.
Yeah, which just has all that like interpersonal filler.
They stop whatever they're doing, right, and they talk.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. And that is because of the way that the Japanese like to storytell or whatever.
Yeah, well the Wachowskis were pulling from anime.
Right, it's like, the way that you storytell properly is you don't have the people stand there and tell you and exposition to you.
Yeah.
Right? You show it through what the characters are doing, their reactions. Sometimes they'll say things, right? But it's like, you know, oh, you know me, I'm your brother, and we did the blah 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 blah. You know, when you said the thing, and it's like as if they'd never met, right? And it's like because the characters, there's no other way for the characters to inform us about what their motivations are or what the fucking villain's motivations are. Right? Yeah. The only way that they see fit to do that is through talking. And it's shit. And I fucking hate it. Right? The fucking Ghost in the Shell TV show, the anime show, is amazing because it's like a fucking crime show. But in cyberpunk world, right? Nobody's. There are a couple of moments where, like, she meets the hacker guy and they talk and they have philosophical discussions or whatever. But it's all very short and sort of to the point and right, you know, about the motivations. But if they're in a firefight, they never stop. Doing what they're doing.
The momentum.
It never stops to fucking, you know, it's like two people pointing guns at each other, stand like this and start talking to each other, right? It's dumb, right? And there are so many animes that happens with. And the only...
Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly, Dragon Ball Z, right? And now... There are animes where it's literally they're just character dramas. Right, and that's perfectly fine. Right, for them to have conversations with each other. But they're not conversing with each other. They're fucking trying to tell us something. And it's dumb. And that's what that is. That's what this is.
That's a good point. I can see that.
They've got themes that they want to convey to us.
That have nothing to do with the narrative.
But the only way that they seem to be able to try and convey the themes is through stilted, stop everything dialogue. And it's fucking shit. I hate it.
That's fair. So in conclusion, I enjoyed this far more than Reloaded. I don't feel like it's its own movie or Reloaded is its own movie. I feel like they are one 4-hour movie which fucking destroys Reloaded because it's nothing fucking happens in it. The Zion stuff is all fucking amazing. The characters, the build up, the tension, the suspense.
They're flying through the fucking tunnel, and they're fucking and we set up that what's her face is like a really like badass pilot. Niobe's like a badass pilot.
We care about the kid. We care about the Mari guy. We care about the Full of Zion. And then all the rest is a fucking bloated, confused anime drama that just waffles and waffles.
That's the best description.
About philosophy. And it makes you not care. It makes you not care at the end when Neo fights Agent Smith or when Trinity dies in Neo's arms or when everything ends. You're just like, what the fuck? The mechs fight has happened. It's 40 minutes. Can we roll credits?
If anybody who's watching this has ever watched Naruto, it's like that. You haven't watched it. I know you haven't.
But I know the trope you're talking about. As soon as you said that, I'm like, you're right.
Love.
You've got it.
It's like the power of Naruto and his conviction. Which stops everything. And it's like the only reason that he achieves something is because he has a segment of the episode where he stops everything and cries. And like, you know, I'm gonna be Hokage one day, and you know, the love of my friends, and I won't let them go, and blah blah blah. And then he uses that to overcome whatever obstacle. And that is the Merovingian Trinity confrontation in this movie. The power of love. She loves him so much.
Do you remember that scene in The Expanse where Clarissa Mao destroys that ship and blames the Rocinante and the UNs and Martians are like, we need to destroy the Rocinante, and then Holden like runs down to the deck and he's like trying to communicate with Miller. He's like, what the fuck's going on? He's like, you need to throw through that fucking alien ring into that other dimension that killed that guy. Could you imagine in the middle of all that if him and fucking Naomi just started talking about love?
Stop. You know, I know we've been through so much together.
Oh, then I love you.
I'm not sure that we're going to be able to make it. We will be able to make it, Naomi, because, you know...
Not for 5 seconds, but for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah. Hey, I can absolutely imagine that happening.
It's called The Matrix.
And that would be the moment that I would shut it off.
Stop watching that show.
It's dumb.
Brilliance, garbage. Thank you for watching.
I don't want to watch the next one. Fuck The Matrix. Fuck it. It's done. They did it. Jesus.
That's all they wrote.